Every doctor would just be like, you're too young. I know something's wrong inside my body. For a little bit, you almost feel kind of crazy. You just have these breakdowns of like, is anyone gonna believe me?
We've heard this so many times here at The Patient Story.
You don't need a mammogram. You're too young.
And my doctor had told me, you're too young for colon cancer. She blew me off and basically stated that I was too young and there was nothing to worry about.
And for Sydney, it took years to find answers.
I always thought it was just like the travel constipation. And because anytime we would travel, I could never go. I remember always having trouble with constipation and bloating, but like growing up, I was like, I never thought that there was an issue. It was just like a normal thing because it would always work itself out. And probably 2018 is when things started getting pain more often. Like, I thought I had IBS. And then the doctors, I would just hear like, well, no, you're fine. Like all your labs look good. You're too young for anything. I tried elimination diets, gluten-free, dairy-free, just to see if maybe it was diet because I used to do CrossFit, like 4 times a week. I would do spin classes. Every doctor would just be like, you're too young. So I just never thought cancer would ever be the thing. Midsummer in 2020, I was just like bent over at work in just so much pain. And I was dealing with like, I would only have relief if I would try to go to the restroom. But after I ate, I was just always in so much pain. And so I finally called a gastroenterologist.
Sydney had to advocate for herself to get seen.
I go in for my colonoscopy and endoscopy. I wake up in the middle of my colonoscopy because I hear them say cancer. They like could not even get a foot inside my colon. It was 2020, so middle, like peak pandemic. And so my husband was not allowed to come in with me, but I knew because waking up after the colonoscopy, I didn't remember them saying cancer in that moment. And I just knew something was up again whenever the doctor was like, okay, your husband's going to come sit down in this room with us. I was like, okay, well, that's not a good sign. And he was just like, I'm 99.9% sure you have cancer. I was just sitting there like this, and my husband is trying to comfort me, but he's freaking out. He's like, how is she not freaking out? I think I just froze. And I just remember he was like rubbing my back so hard. And I was like, okay, that's enough. And he was like, I'm sorry. Like, he was like, how are you not freaking out right now? I was like, I think I'm just literally in shock. Like I'm a little frozen right now. Then sent me like straight for scans and surgery and then everything from there. But they did the surgery. And I woke up with an ileostomy that I did not know I was going to get. Because the prep did not work, they had to like let my bowels rest. But I got it reversed after a little over a year.
Before her colorectal cancer diagnosis, Sydney and her husband planned to move to St. Louis, Missouri. After the surgery, they made the move. That's when Sydney found out she was stage 4. Doctors found active cancer throughout her body.
I have 2 for sure in my liver, and then I have 1 that we're not sure what it is on my liver. It's not been confirmed. And then my lungs, I had like numerous spots, too many for surgery. And it was a year after being kicked off my parents' insurance. And so me and my husband trying to find insurance and then finding a hospital that would take it. I started treatment at St. Louis University. Initially, I did 12 rounds of Folfox. I did 6 rounds of radiation, 3 on this side of my lungs and 3 on this side. And so we waited for, scans in like 2 to 3 months. Well, scans were clear, but blood work wasn't. But then I did the full Fury for 12 rounds. And then they put me on capecitabine, which is a chemo pill. Then that's when they told me, we can't help you anymore. I don't know what to do. So I went to Moffitt in Tampa to get a second opinion because they would take my insurance at the time. And he was like, no, I'd put you on Lonsurf. You do have more options. And so we switched to Lonsurf in 2020, maybe late 2020 or early 2021. I applied for disability because I couldn't work through treatment. So when I was able to be put on Medicare, I was able to move to Siteman. I was on lawn surf for well over 2 years. Just like, it would be stable, a little progression, and then go back down to stable. And then I had a new spot show up in my liver, and now I'm on full fury again. But I'm at a low dosage. It's not as bad as the first time, but I am starting to like experience a lot of the things that, like, obviously hair's falling out again. My eyebrows are gone. Gotta draw them on. But, you know, that's what makeup's for. I have been on the schedule of every other Tuesday for like 3 years now. And then I am sent home on a 46-hour pump that looks like that, with my port right here. And then, yeah, I think it's like affecting my vocal cords. I don't know. It's like my voice always goes out on these 3 days of treatment. Obviously digestive issues and appetite and fatigue. Yeah, when I got diagnosed, people didn't really know what to say, or, you know, like, how do you tell someone, especially getting a stage 4, people hear that and they think terminal. People really don't know what to say, what to do. And so it can be really isolating. But I think I would tell people that it is going to be okay. There's going to be a lot of hard times, but you find that if you can find community, especially in your specific cancer, like I found Fight CRC, the Colon Town, and I've met so many people that are going through the same thing as me, and I've seen a lot of friends pass from this disease. You just have to find someone to, if it can't be you, find someone that will really champion you. And my husband has learned so much, and my parents, and it's like a night and day from when I got diagnosed to how people support me now. And I do think cancer patients also need to be, I know we have to advocate for ourselves in so many ways, but I think we also need to let people know, like, how to maybe readjust the speech, or maybe don't tell me, well, my grandma died from cancer, as soon as I tell you I have cancer. Maybe don't say those things. I have never had a doctor give me a timeline or anything, or tell me that I'm incurable. So that was very helpful. Being at Siteman, they sat down and like broke down my, like, everything. They'll sit there and explain it to me. I got pushed into menopause from chemo, and they sent me to a woman specialist that's in the hospital, or if, like, you know, something else was wrong, they'll send me to this specialist. And they just really, really care. And I think having a doctor that, while they have so many patients, but can be so personable, and like, we care about you as an individual and not just like another number, has really helped. It may happen, but I'm not gonna die from this. I believe that I will reach no evidence of disease, and then I will see it for 5 years, and they will tell me that I'm cancer-free. So that's what I believe. And of course there's like hard days, but really it's just what I keep telling myself. And I don't want to be cliche and be like, don't give up, but like, don't give up. Like, you can do it. And I know people speak about like, they don't want to be called a warrior, and I'm tired of people telling me that I'm brave, because like, what other option did I have?
As a caregiver to my mom who had colorectal cancer, Sydney, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. If this story resonated with you and inspired you, we've queued up another one here. And please make sure you subscribe here to become part of the Patient Story community, where we're humanizing cancer one story at a time, and always reminding people you're never alone.